Hello and welcome back to World 360. I'm Vartika Singh, and over the next few minutes, we will discuss three important global headlines like Trump's threatening to reclaim Panama Canal, Germany Christmas market attack, and Russia capturing two villages in Ukraine. On December 22, 2024, President-elect Donald Trump made a bold statement at a major rally in Phoenix, Arizona, raising eyebrows with his comments about the Panama Canal. Trump suggested that his administration might attempt to regain control of the Panama Canal, which the US handed over to Panama in 1999. He criticized the current fees charged for the passage, calling them ridiculous. Panama's conservative president Jose Raul Mulino, who was elected in May on a pro-business platform, roundly rejected the notion as an affront to the country's sovereignty. The Panama Canal, a critical shipping route between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, has been at the heart of a heated debate. Originally built by the US in the early 20th century, the canal was transferred to Panama under a 1977 treaty. The canal's history dates back to the 1500s when the Spanish first dreamed of creating a shortcut across Panama. However, it wasn't until the late 19th century that serious attempts were made, with the French leading the first major construction effort. But after facing engineering challenges and widespread diseases, the project failed. In 1904, after Panama gained independence from Colombia, the United States, under President Theodore Roosevelt, took over the construction. By 1940, the canal was complete, drastically reducing travel time between the Atlantic and Pacific Oceans, and cementing the US control over this vital waterway. The United States controlled the canal for most of the 20th century, but as Panama's nationalist sentiments grew, the US agreed to transfer control in 1999 under the Panama Canal Treaty, signed in 1977 by President Jimmy Carter. The transfer marked the end of nearly a century of American dominance over the region. Now, Panama controls the canal through the Panama Canal Authority, but Trump's comments have reignited a debate. He criticized the high fees charged to ships passing through the canal, which were increased in 2023 due to the droughts affecting the region. Trump remained defiant, posting a picture of a US flag planted in the canal zone with the message, "Welcome to the United States Canal." The exchange highlights the ongoing tension over the waterway, which is vital not only to Panama's economy but also to the world. The rally, part of Trump's return to the power tour, also saw him declare the golden age of America is upon us and vowed to deliver a booming economy and securing US borders. At the rally, Trump introduced key members of his upcoming administration, including Stephen Moran to lead the Council of Economic Advisors and Callista Gingrich as the ambassador to Switzerland. Meanwhile, Australian billionaire Anthony Pratt pledged $1.1 million to Trump's inaugural fund, adding to his significant donation to Trump's Political Action Committee. As Trump prepared to take office, his comments on the Panama Canal and his growing influence within the conservative movement are just the beginning of what promises to be a controversial second term. On December 20, 2024, a devastating attack took place at a Christmas market in Magdeburg, Germany. A black SUV plowed into the crowded market, killing 5 people and injuring over 200. The suspect, a Saudi doctor, is facing charges for murder, attempted murder, and dangerous bodily harm. Let's break down these events, the investigation, and the questions being raised. Just after 7 p.m., the SUV drove through the Christmas market at a high speed, hitting several people, including 4 women and a 9-year-old boy, who tragically lost their lives. The vehicle continued through the market, crashed, and was stopped by police. Despite security barriers around the market to protect against vehicles' attack, a gap was left for emergency access. This allowed the attackers to drive through, raising concerns about the security design. In the aftermath, questions have emerged about Germany's security measures. During a visit by politicians to the scene, they were heckled by citizens, many criticizing the perceived security lapses that allowed the attack to occur. Security at Christmas market had been heightened after the 2016 Berlin attack, but the Magdeburg tragedy has reignited debates about safety. City officials explained that the gap in the barriers was meant for emergency vehicles in case of a conventional emergency, but some have questioned whether this gap was too wide and if it could have been prevented. The suspect, identified as 50-year-old Talib al-Abdul Mohsin, a Saudi psychiatrist who moved to Germany in 2006, has been under investigation for his past actions. He was granted asylum in 2016 and has been vocal critic of Islam and an advocate for anti-immigrant views. His social media is filled with anti-Islamic rhetorics and conspiracy theories. German authorities were aware of al-Abdul Mohsin's extreme views. Saudi Arabia sent multiple warnings about him as early as 2007, citing his radical views. Despite this, German officials say there were no clear signs of violence, which has raised concern about whether enough was done to monitor him. Federal authorities are now under scrutiny for not acting on these warnings. Investigations into his past are ongoing, and the authorities are reviewing how the information about him was handled. The German Office for Migration and Refugee confirmed they had received a tip about him, but as non-investigative body, it was forwarded to other agency. Al-Abdul Mohsin's online activities also being closely examined. His social media was filled with threats and anti-Islamic sentiments. Many are questioning why platforms like X didn't take action sooner. The German ambassador to the UK has raised concern about the X's role in not curbing harmful content from users like the suspect. Since 2016 Berlin truck attack, Christmas market across Germany have been fortified with barriers and armed police. Yet this attack in Magdeburg shows how gaps in security can still leave these markets vulnerable. As the investigation continues, question lingers about the suspect's motive and whether more could have been done to prevent this tragedy. For now, the city of Magdeburg is left in grief, and Germany grapples with the lessons learned from this devastating attack. In the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict, Russia has recently claimed control of 2 more villages in Ukraine's eastern territories. These villages are located in Kharkiv to the northeast and Donetsk, a region now at the center of Moscow's military push. The Donetsk region is where Russian forces have concentrated much of their efforts, targeting cities like Pokrovsk and Kurakhove. Russian military sources say they are now advancing on these towns, with heavy fighting around Pokrovsk, a key logistic center. This comes after Russian forces captured Lozava, a village near Kupiansk, and Sontsivka north of Kurakhove in recent days. These villages are strategically important, and their capture brings Russian forces closer to the controlling the entire Donetsk region. However, Ukrainian military has reported heavy resistance. In fact, 26 Russian attacks were launched on the Sontsivka sector alone, while Ukraine's forces have been actively fighting to hold their ground and prevent further encirclements. The recent advances represent the fastest territorial progress Russia has made in months, particularly in the eastern parts of Ukraine. Moscow's strategy seems to be focusing on seizing as much as land as possible before any shifts in the political landscape, including the potential change in leadership in the United States come January 2025. On the diplomatic front, Russian President Vladimir Putin has pledged retaliation after Ukrainian drones struck several Russian targets, including residential area in Kazan, more than 1,000 kilometers from the border. Though no fatalities were reported, these drone attacks continue to escalate tensions between the two nations. The attacks on Russian infrastructure, including fuel depots, are part of a broader Ukrainian strategy to undermine Russian military supply lines. Just days after these strikes, Russian forces launched their own missile attacks on Ukrainian energy grid, plunging thousands of homes into darkness as winter approaches. Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky continues to push for NATO membership as security guarantee to protect Ukraine from further Russian aggression. However, NATO has yet to offer a concrete timeline for membership, leaving Kyiv in a precarious position. As the war enters its third year, both sides faces increasing pressure. Russia claimed new territorial gain, but Ukraine continues to defend its land with mourning casualties and challenges ahead. The battle for eastern Ukraine, particularly the Donetsk region, remain a critical front. With Russia's advances and Ukraine's determination to defend its sovereignty, the conflict continues to shape the future of the region and beyond. As the war rages on, both sides are locked in battle of wills, each seeking victory with devastating consequences for civilians caught in the crossfire. The path to peace remains uncertain, but one thing is clear. The struggle for control over Ukraine continues with global repercussions. We will get you the latest on these and more. For more such updates, do log in into The Print. Thank you for watching.